All right, back with another mock draft reaction. We are going with a Daniel Jeremiah mock draft, which I always like his mock drafts. I think they're always a good time. Just in general, mock drafts are very fun. Really hard to get them perfectly accurate, but that's part of the fun of it all. So let's get into it. Starting off, number one overall, Cam Ward. Again, you can search Daniel Jeremiah mock draft. This will come up if you want to read more detail about what he is saying. But yeah. Cam Ward at 1. Abdul Carter does go number 2, which kind of opens up the door for number 3. The Giants can take Travis Hunter if that's what they want to do. But they do not. Wow. Daniel Jeremiah decides to go with Shedeur Sanders at pick number 3. This is surprising, right? I mean, again, obviously the Giants have plenty of quarterbacks. Now, the thing about the quarterbacks they have on their roster, those quarterbacks aren't preventing you from taking another quarterback, but they are maybe tipping the hand of the Giants, saying maybe they don't want another quarterback, right? If they want Shedeur Sanders, would they have signed Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston and Tommy DeVito, knowing that those guys are going to be 2 through 4 instead of, that feels more like a 1 through 3 thing, but maybe that's just, they want to make sure no one trades up to number 2 to take Sanders, and it's all a smokescreen, which wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. This mock draft also was from a little under a month ago, so, there is that aspect to it, which is maybe part of why this is made. Maybe today, Jeremiah would disagree. But, okay, Sanders at 3, that makes it easy for the Patriots. They, in 2 seconds, as quick as they can write Travis Hunter's name down, are handing the card in and selecting him. Wow. Okay, so I have not seen this, period. Jalen Walker at 5 to the Jaguars, which, quite frankly, I just don't think he is that kind of prospect. So, you could certainly look at this and say, hey, that's very, very much a Jaguars pick, getting the kind of freak athlete similar to when they drafted Trayvon Walker over Aiden Hutchinson. But they have a completely new regime now, new GM. I just think those days of what the Jaguars were doing is kind of dead, but maybe not. Maybe they still are going to, they still have similar people in the building, right? Maybe they'll still do this. Doesn't feel like that's what's going to happen. But okay, interesting rest of the draft now. So, okay, still Ashton Jeanty at 6, but where do we go from here? Jeanty, most people feel like will be the pick, and hey, he's a great player. Sure, why not? So Ahmed Membo for the Jets, yep. Again, what a lot of people are predicting. I think he's a really good player. Totally worth the 7th overall pick. Mason Graham for the Panthers, which, yeah, I agree with this. Now, I have kind of been critical of how many people are predicting the Panthers to get a defensive player. I keep saying go offense, like get a receiver here, get Ted McMillan. But ultimately, Mason Graham's a great player. If he falls to you, it's okay to just take the best player available as well. And so I kind of like it from that perspective. Number 9, Jahad Campbell. As a Buccaneers fan, not a fan of this one because I want him to fall to us at 19. But ultimately, yeah, I think he's worth a top 10 pick. This is actually, I think, a pick I like by Jeremiah. Again, a lot of people were talking quarterback there, but if they decide not to go quarterback, of course, this mock draft was made before the Derek Carr injury was revealed. So I definitely get the logic behind that. Number 10, Will Campbell, which, okay, again, it's interesting. A lot of people are still predicting the Bears to go offensive line, even though they did make a real effort to improve that offensive line, which Jeremiah did know about when he was, making this mock draft. But ultimately, again, Will Campbell's a good player, and maybe they just want a good player. Moving on now to number 11, Jahdy Barron. Yep, makes sense. Really would fit that 49ers scheme well and would be a really good player. Matthew Golden, definitely one I've seen as well get mocked here to the Cowboys. Now, again, he also says he wouldn't rule out Marion Hampton, but I kind of agree that that's a bit too early. They could use a receiver. If they feel like he can be a very good receiver, sure, why not? You're already paying so much money to the passing game. Why not put a little more resources in there? Don't be good at something, be great at something. Although, I do wonder if there are just better players available here, and there's certainly bigger needs for the Cowboys, but we'll see. Malaki Starks at 13, it's a bit early for me. I do agree that the Dolphins could use some defensive help, some secondary help. Not sure if this is the player, but I like him a lot. I think it's not crazy. Just a bit of a reach for me is my gut reaction. Tyler Warren at 14, because everyone has Tyler Warren at 14. Will Johnson to the Falcons, who, again, everyone wants the Falcons to go edge rusher. Doesn't mean they're going to feel like they have to do it, though. He's a good player. I think I would have liked him at 13 to the Dolphins. I could see it. Moving on to number 16. Wow, Gray Zabel, who is this a bit earlier than I've seen him mocked in a lot of other drafts. But you know what? I mean, again, he is a really good player. Like, he is someone who definitely, I think, a really interesting prospect. Again, feels a bit of a reach for me just because he is such a projection of being a North Dakota State guy. What are you going to get out of it? You just don't know. But yeah, I mean, there are people who really like him. I could see something like this happening for sure. 17, Mike Green. Again, this feels more of, I've seen a lot of Shamar Stewart picks here. I do like this a lot better. He's a much more polished player. Bit of a projection as well from Marshall, absolutely. But he was also, someone who was really good. When we saw him on film. So a couple projections going at 16 and 17. Do understand the logic behind both of them. Colston Loveland Jr. to the Seahawks. That's interesting. Noah Fant is currently the tight end 1 on the roster, who is a fine player, but certainly you could move off of Noah Fant if you want to. Fant, a former first-round draft pick from the Broncos, who came over in the Russell Wilson trade. Yeah, you could upgrade there if you want to. I think they'd rather go like offensive line, but maybe they just don't love the player. Gray Zabel is off the board. Maybe that's an issue, so I don't know. But that's interesting. Number 19 here. So the Buccaneers go Donovan Izaraku, who is someone that, yeah, I mean, as it says, Jason Light has always valued production, and he brings that with 16.5 sacks last season. Yeah, I mean, I do think edge rusher is still a position of need. I know they have Yaya Diaby and you have Hassan Reddick, but what are you getting out of Hassan Reddick? He definitely is a question, and hey, worst case scenario, you have 3 good pass rushers. Reddick is only there on 1 year. You can let him walk, and then you still have 2 good starters, and then you can add depth elsewhere. So yeah, don't hate that at all. Marion Hampton to the Broncos. Again, I've seen this mock before. It makes sense for just how they operate. Sean Payton loves his running backs and very much values that aspect of football. So yeah, we'll see if that's what they do. Jackson Dart to the Steelers. Again, it's the Aaron Rodgers question, right? And what Jeremiah is saying is, well, they would still need a long-term option, but like, Aaron Rodgers has been known to be picky, right? And he's not even under contract as of right now. Is he going to sign a contract if they select Jackson Dart? But if you're the Steelers, maybe you just say, hey, listen, we can't just hope you sign with us. If we don't know it, we're going to decide to say, let's just get Jackson Dart. And if you don't want to sign with us, then okay, at least we have an option, right? Next up, we have the Chargers going with Ted McMillan, who is not the first receiver taken because Golden at 12 went. Yeah, I think McMillan's way better than 22nd overall pick. I think he should be taken earlier. But for the Chargers, this feels like what you have to do. Again, I don't think they're going to feel like they need to go receiver, even though that's kind of what makes the most sense for them on paper, just because that's kind of how they operate, right? Similar to the Broncos. They don't feel like they need this, but ultimately, I mean, hey, one of the best players available is a position of need. Sometimes things are easy that way. Maxwell Harrison to the Packers. Again, no one knows what to do with the Packers, but honestly, I like Maxwell Harrison a lot as a player. Secondary depth is really important, so even if they don't need him right now, you'll probably end up playing him. So ultimately, yeah, I like that choice a lot. Number 24, Nick Emanuware, who is someone who, again, fits the scheme well, totally makes sense. They could use a safety. What if you get mocked a bunch, and I get it. Kelvin Banks Jr. to the Texans. I would really like it. I've seen other offensive linemen get mocked to them here. I think Banks is the better player. I like him more in this spot, so they desperately need a tackle. Yeah, this would, to me, be a good pick by them. Trey Amos to the Rams, another one that I do like a lot. I think he's a very good player, and I could definitely see this working out. Again, I don't think they feel like they have to go corner. They do have young players in the secondary that maybe they like, but I don't think they would hate the idea of, improving there. Then we have at 27, Derek Harmon to the Ravens. Sure, they like the Ravens tend to just draft the best player available a lot, so they might just do that. Harmon might be the best player available. So yeah, and I think they'll find room for him. Mikael Williams, edge rusher, definitely a position the Lions could improve upon. They really need a second edge rusher right now. Aiden Hutchinson kind of can do it all alone, but you don't want to make him do it all alone, so they'll go with Mikael Williams. That would make sense. Azariah Thomas to the Commanders, another guy getting an outside corner play opposite Marshawn Lattimore. Definitely a position of weakness at this point. And like I said, even if you like some of the other guys currently on the roster, you want depth there. So getting another guy in the room certainly helps with that. Kenneth Grant to the Bills. Feels like everyone's doing this, and it makes sense. He's someone who would be a very good player for them. Josh Simmons at 31. Again, a lot of people are going tackle with the Chiefs. I don't think they have to go tackle, but I think that they would ultimately, if they like the tackle there, go with him. Some people really like Josh Simmons. Some people are a little colder on him, but ultimately he could be a good player for them. You do wonder if you want a guy who can also potentially move inside, because they have the left guard hole now that they have when they lost Thuney. But yeah, I think that's interesting. On Shamar Stewart with the Eagles. Now, this is interesting. It says Stewart has offered more disruption than production to this point in his career, but the Eagles made a similar move with Nolan Smith a couple years ago, and it has paid off in a big way. Well, it depends on what you value, right? Because for Nolan Smith, he actually, the production, I'm assuming the sacks weren't great, but like his pass rush win rate was through the roof when they selected him. He had shown that he could win. It was more so, I think, just like the sacks thing. Shamar Stewart does not have those types of advanced metrics. In fact, Nolan Smith was an analytics darling. Shamar Stewart has been kind of the opposite. So because of that, I don't know if I fully agree with Jeremiah here. I actually think Shamar Stewart is the exact opposite of an Eagles pick. Well, that's not necessarily true. I mean, the Eagles really like their specialists. Shamar Stewart is a really good, run defending edge rusher as of right now, and maybe they'll just view him as that. But I feel like for the developmental pass rush stuff, they don't really take developmental guys too much. They take guys who are kind of good in a role and then have them play that role, or they get just a Jalen Carter who's great at everything, right? It would be a very un-Eagles pick, but at 32, even if he's not a player I love, I wouldn't hate him at 32, because he is a good run defender, and maybe they just hope that they can develop the pass rush. So I don't know. It's interesting. It doesn't feel like a perfect Eagles pick, and I think he probably is going to be gone before 32, but we'll see. Ultimately, a fun mock draft to read through and give my thoughts on. Everyone, let me know what were your thoughts on this mock draft. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.